Hello, this is a Tradesight trade recap, and I wanted to cover one of the stocks that we played with this week. Now, this is the week coming back from Labor Day. We were looking for the volume in the market to pick up. We were looking for things to improve in a general sense. And the first thing we saw Tuesday was that the volume was a little bit better, but then Wednesday it really picked up. And throughout the week, we had some great trading opportunities. And in fact, we set a record here at Tradesight this week. Out of all of our trades that triggered with the numbers that we give people off the report and intraday as well for our calls, take the ones that triggered with market direction, and almost everything did anyways. We were 27 for 27 for the week, an absolutely amazing week for us. So overall, there's a lot to talk about, but I wanted to focus on one in particular just to show you that when you get on the right side of a trade and you get on the right side of a market pattern, stock chart pattern, good things can happen, even if sometimes a little bit of it is luck, and that's what we're going to look at here today. So this is a daily chart of ASTX, and we've been following this one basically from this point that you see here on the chart. So there's a nice cup formation, a little gap up right here. We did have a 13 sell signal down in this area on the daily chart. Then 2 days later, gapped up on some news and broke right through that risk line. So that pretty much terminates what was a seeker sell signal, and that's fine. So now what you end up with is a real nice symmetrical cup formation where the high back here in April is equal to the high over here in late August. And so we were sort of following this thing for a day or two. And as you can see, it sort of drifted lower. What this does is give you sort of a handle, right? So you got the cup forming the handle, all right? And now let's zoom in on what ends up happening on that next day. So this is coming into the 4th. This is Wednesday. We've been watching the stock already for a couple days, waiting for it. And the breakout point on this stock was going to be over $6.99, basically over $7 per share. It's where we wanted to buy this stock. Just such a nice, good, constructive pattern. You always want to follow these things. It may take days before they trigger. They may never trigger. But if they do, you want to be involved. And so let's take a look at what ends up happening in the futures market that day. This is Wednesday morning. Here's the opening 2 bars of the day. We got an open right here on the ES, pulled back for a bar, and then what happens next is futures take off, the market starts running higher. Okay, so the early morning action after the first 10 minutes, everything to the long side. Okay, so again, we should be looking for stocks to buy as the futures are pushing up like that. There was good volume in the market at the time. So what you're looking for is stocks with great patterns, breaking through great triggers, doing so with the market volume, with market directional support, which we had from that chart at the time. So now here's a look at the ASTX. This is 5-minute bars on our stock that we've been watching. And again, remember, it's the 699 area that we're interested in for a breakout. So here we are a couple bars into the trading day, about 1, 2, 3, 4, 25 minutes in. We're just now breaking out over the last couple days range, which doesn't necessarily do anything for you. But as you start to head up here, what you'll notice is we come up, we hit 690, little pause. Okay, so now we're about an hour into the market, right? And there's our trigger. There's the sound alert for the 9 bars up, but there's our trigger moving through that $6.99 or $7 area if you want to round it off. Okay, so we're going to buy this thing. That's a $7 stock. We're going to look for something near 20 cents to sell half the trade and then let it play out. That's how we usually operate on a $7 stock. And if you see this thing moving up, doing its thing, a little pullback to retest the general area, general area of entry. Okay, and then bouncing off of that, no problem. And this next push up, this gets us basically a partial that we've been looking for. We hit about 20 cents on the stock. And that's fine. And so now what we're doing from here is once we've got a partial, we're just going to watch the area of the entry. We're going to see if it plays with that $7 level again. If it really starts to lose that, we'll just exit the trade and move on. But if it stays above that level, we're going to let it ride. And here's what got interesting on this stock is that you can see a little pullback. Okay, it came down to about 705, no problem. By the way, we're looking at a 12, 13 seeker potentially right here. There's your 12. One more bar could actually get you a seeker 13. But here's what happens next. Stock gets halted and then reopens and pushes. And there you have it. So we get a big news kick. So again, because we're buying this strong stock, why was the stock pattern looking so strong to begin with? Obviously, because there's positive things happening for the company. And that's why we do what we do. We buy strong stocks and we short weak ones. And this one was certainly a nice pattern. And the bonus here is that this little $7 stock had a little news come out. And when it turned back on from the news halt, jumped all the way to $9.40. So a big, huge winner for us off of what was essentially just supposed to be a nice pattern that could have gone 40, 50 cents, and I would have been happy. Instead, almost $2.50 on a $7 stock in a matter of 2 or 3 hours. So that's why we look at the patterns we look at, and that's why you pay attention to market direction. That's why we like to see volume in the market, because good things happen when we have all of those components. And let me also just throw back on here real quick and show you the daily chart and just how significant that breakout is. I'm going to add in the next 2 days on this chart. There's the breakout day, right? Boom. Look how big that looks now on the chart. So, big day for the stock from news, and certainly worked out well for us. Hope you have a great trading session.